Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Dakira and I'm a dietitian that helps women to heal from recurring vaginal infections and chronic health conditions. And I am doing a free iron deficiency anemia education series. And this video is going to be on the correlation between iron deficiency anemia and skin health. And if you're wondering why I'm doing a series on this, it's because I found out that iron deficiency anemia is linked to not only recurring vaginal infections, but it's also linked to a lot of other women health conditions that we are not aware of, such as skin health, painful periods, and other things. And so if you're new to this education series, I would start off by watching the first video, which explains the iron recycling system, because you're not going to understand why you're anemic why you're still anemic while taking iron supplements if you don't understand the iron recycling system. I think my hair is like whatever. Okay. So yeah, so if you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe. I talk about women's health, vaginal health mainly, but whatever comes up in my life that I feel is in alignment with my channel and my followers, I will make videos on that. I don't want my hair sticking out back here. But okay. So if you guys have been a part of the series, you already know why I've been inspired to make more videos on iron deficiency anemia. I was hospitalized in France due to really severe period cramps that felt like I was literally in labor, and it turns out that it was linked back to iron deficiency anemia. And what I was experiencing basically was uterine hypoxia, and also because I was so low in iron, my uterus and many fibroids that I had were both competing for blood and oxygen, and it caused really severe period cramps. So backstory, I have always, and I'm working on revising this through law of assumption and manifestation. I'm just speaking in terms for the video so you guys can understand, but I have always dealt with acne my whole entire life. Like not just acne, but also hyperpigmentation. So I always had acne, but then when I was in college, I started getting cystic acne, and all my life, I also dealt with iron deficiency anemia. When I say all my life in both contexts, I'm referring to since I got my period. So that I was around like 11 years old. I've always had acne and always had iron deficiency anemia. But I'm just speaking in terms for this video. In reality, I don't claim those things anymore, because whatever we continue to persist in as our story is what's going to keep manifesting. But just to show you guys, this side of my face has always been clearer than this side of my face. I have more dark spots on this side. And I never used to really break out under my jaw and my chin. This only started happening this year, where I would get breakouts under this area. And I think it's because I had a PCOS flare-up a few months ago. But one thing about my hyperpigmentation is that my dark spots literally take forever to heal. And once I started looking more into iron deficiency anemia, I realized there is a direct correlation between iron deficiency anemia and your skin health. So it impacts it impacts acne. It also impacts your skin's ability to heal fast. So if you deal with iron deficiency anemia and you have hyperpigmentation, there's a direct correlation, because we need iron for healthy skin. And if we're low on iron, we're gonna have longer healing time. So you may have dark spots that last longer. And also, because iron deficiency anemia does impact inflammation levels in skin, if you deal with other acne conditions like hidradenitis, which I also have dealt with ever since I was younger as well, this can also impact hidradenitis and cyst flare-ups, and also your skin's healing ability and how fast your cyst will go away. And even just having cysts in general is all impacted by iron deficiency anemia. So a lot of women, and I'm looking at my notes, they think that their acne is related to like hormones or their diet. And acne can be related to hormones, diet, gut health, all those other things. But what's not talked about often enough is the fact that it can also be linked back to iron deficiency. So in this video, we're breaking down how low iron impacts your skin, hormone balance, inflammation levels, and even the health of your gut and your immune system. So why iron matters for your skin is because iron's main job is to move oxygen in your blood to your cells. So without oxygen, your skin cannot heal, detox, or regenerate properly. So again, this is what leads it back to the slow delayed healing when you're having dark spots for months that are not going away. Iron is also essential for collagen production. I think we all know what collagen is by now. It's a different form of protein and it helps with our skin, which is why when people take collagen in their drinks, they typically have more youthful, radiant, tight, glowing skin. But iron is essential for collagen production, immune function, and reducing inflammation. So if your immunity is suppressed, you can get more acne, more skin conditions. If you have high inflammation, obviously you're going to have more flare-ups of acne, hidradenitis, or any skin condition, eczema, psoriasis, rosacea, doesn't matter. Skin issues are often signs of deeper nutrient deficiencies. So being low in iron obviously is a nutrient deficiency. And especially if you're also tired, cold, or having heavy periods, this is all linked back to iron deficiency anemia. So the correlation now between iron deficiency anemia and acne specifically is the fact that iron deficiency weakens your immune system, which can lead to more bacterial overgrowth in your pores. Poor circulation and low oxygen leads to your skin becoming slower to heal, leading to more scarring, hyperpigmentation, and more prone to inflammation. So you may get more inflammatory acne or I forgot what the condition is called, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. I forgot what it's called. And also, I'm not a dermatologist or an esthetician. I'm just a dietitian. I'm just teaching the nutrition and just health information, education. The hormone connection is that low iron can worsen estrogen dominance. And we know that estrogen dominance leads to things like fibroids, heavy periods, PCOS, and acne because you're having excess estrogen in your circulating in your bloodstream, and also leads to worse period cramps also. So low iron can worsen estrogen dominance, and that also increases sebum, which is increasing oil production on your skin, which causes that cystic acne. And low iron also equals chronic stress on your body. So when you are deficient in any nutrient, it's automatically causing stress and inflammation in your body because your body has to figure out either how to produce more of it or has to work harder to maintain itself. But that's why when you're deficient in absolutely anything, you have to supplement it into your diet. So it's really, really important. When your body has chronic stress, obviously we're going to have higher cortisol levels, which is the stress hormone. High cortisol leads to low-grade inflammation over time. It leads to high blood pressure. It leads to irregulated blood sugar. It leads to insulin resistance. It leads to diseases, all the things. So, which also leads to more breakouts. So even if you're using all the skincare products, you're using a bunch of different creams, if your skin cells cannot access oxygen or nutrients, your acne is always going to keep coming back. And because I dealt with iron deficiency basically my whole entire life, also dealt with hidradenitis and acne, I never knew the correlation between the two. So obviously now that I know, I'm working on healing my skin, not just through iron-rich foods and having like my own iron regimen, but also through manifestation, subconscious reprogramming, things like that. But if I had known this correlation fucking like 10 to 15 years ago, I probably would not have acne right now or hyperpigmentation. And I'm just finding this out. I'm 27 now, so better late than never. And that's why I'm also teaching you guys so that you guys can also know for yourself as well. So now when it comes to iron deficiency and hyperpigmentation or dark marks, when your skin gets inflamed after acne, iron deficient bodies do not produce new cells fast enough. So dark spots and hyperpigmentation, they linger longer, especially in deeper skin tone. So the more melanated, the longer you're going to have dark spots if you're deficient in iron. Low iron also makes your skin look dull, pale, and uneven due to reduced blood flow, which obviously makes sense because my skin, guys can obviously see, but this would not be my reality, like literally in the next few months or weeks. So yeah. Iron, iron levels also affect melanin balance. So if your iron is too low, you will deal with more stubborn pigmentation. So instead of using just fading creams and, oh wait, sorry, I got lost in my notes. Okay, yeah, so instead of using just fading creams and also just like skincare products, improve your iron status, add in more vitamin C. This can help repair your skin from within. Vitamin C helps with the absorption of iron and also helps with collagen production. So the more iron vitamin C you can get in your diet, the better. Now, the correlation between iron deficiency anemia and hidradenitis, and for those who do not know what hidradenitis is, it's basically an inflammatory skin condition where you have inflammation of your lymph nodes and your sweat glands, and it causes really, really, really painful boils and cysts in places like under your arms, in your vaginal area, in your ass area. Some people get boils in other places like under their breasts or in between their thighs. Me personally, I've only ever dealt with cysts under my arms, in my vaginal area, and in my ass area. In recent years, I've only dealt with cysts in my vaginal area. Back in the day, I would get more like in my ass area and also under my arms, but I haven't dealt with those in years. But they're extremely painful, inflamed cysts, and sometimes they get really large, like to the point where you have to go to the hospital and get it drained large. And it causes you not being able to move. You can't sit properly. You cannot lay down properly. You can't sleep properly. You may not be able to go to work or go to school. Even if you work from home, you may not even be able to do that, because if you can't sit down on your ass, how are you going to work from home if you're on camera? It's an extremely, extremely, extremely 10 out of 10 painful condition. And it's just a horrible condition to deal with. And there's a direct correlation between iron deficiency anemia and hidradenitis. So again, it's a chronic inflammatory skin condition leading to painful lumps. And iron deficiency anemia increases inflammation and lowers immunity, which will worsen your hidradenitis flare-ups. So low iron means oxidative stress, which means your flare-ups will last longer and be more severe. So I haven't dealt with flare-ups in years, but this year I've had 2 flare-ups and they have not been healing. And they've been sticking around, and I've had no idea why. And now that I know the correlation between iron deficiency anemia and hidradenitis, I know that once I get my iron back up to proper levels, it's gonna go away. But I have I've been dealing with 2 flare-ups on my vulvar area, and they just stay there. Like they just stay. Sometimes they fill up with fluid, and then they keep draining, and then it comes back, and then I have to constantly keep like a Band-Aid on it so that it's not getting irritated. But it's a really annoying condition to deal with. But low iron means that your flare-ups will last longer and be more severe. So it makes sense that I've had these flare-ups and they're not really healing. They've just been staying there. And HS is also often linked with gut dysfunction and trauma, which are both highly correlated with anemia. So in the spiritual world, it is known that cysts and boils are a sign of suppressed anger or unforgiveness or resentment that's being held in your body. And when I was younger, dealing with hidradenitis, I started dealing with this since 8th grade. 8th grade all throughout high school, I would literally have up to like 13 to 16 cysts at a time in my vaginal area. I'm not making this up. They weren't all huge. They would just be like small little cysts, because with hidradenitis, it forms tracts. So you'll see like a tunnel and you'll just see like cyst. Like that's how it is. So I would literally have so many at a time in my anal area and also like in my vaginal area. And during this time, I was living in a very toxic household with like a lot of arguing, and a lot of anger was residing inside of me, and a lot of hatred also as well. So it made sense that at that time I was dealing with a lot of flare-ups. What ended up for me helping with my hidradenitis was getting laser hair removal. That's what helped me. With Black people, it's important that you get the ND-YAG laser, because that's what's meant for our skin. And when I started getting laser, my cysts stopped coming. So I wouldn't deal with cysts for like years because I was getting laser hair removal, and I went from having like 13 to 16 cysts at a time to having none. And so right now, like I told you guys, I have 2, but once I get my iron levels up, I know that it's going to heal. So that's how you can see how it's linked to trauma, and also gut dysfunction, because when you're in a high stress environment, this also disrupts your gut microbiome, which leads to gut dysbiosis, which leads to poor gut health. So it's all interconnected. And so a lot of people with HS also report heavy periods. I'm not sure about the correlation between them, probably because of inflammation, but this obviously leads to more iron loss, which keeps you in a vicious cycle of having more flare-ups that last longer and don't heal, and also being iron deficient anemic. So now how iron affects your skin through your gut health. So low iron equals low stomach acid. When you have low stomach acid, this leads to more bacteria overgrowth, which leads to more inflammation, which leads to more skin issues. So if you're constipated, if you're bloated, or if you have food sensitivity, this can also lead to, well, this can also be related back to iron deficiency anemia. Because people think that having food sensitivity is like a random thing, but it's not. It's actually linked back to nutrient deficiencies and gut inflammation, and also iron deficiency anemia as well. So there is a gut-skin connection. So when your gut is inflamed, your skin is also usually inflamed as well. When it comes to your hair and your nails, when you have weak, thin, brittle, or shedding hair, peeling nails or ridges, or pale or dull skin tone, this is all also linked back to low iron. And these are often the first signs of iron deficiency before labs even show it. So if you're wondering if you should get checked or not, if you have heavy periods, fatigue, reoccurring vaginal infections, dizziness, cold hands or feet, brain fog, restless legs, anxiety, or long-term acne and hyperpigmentation, ask your doctor for a CBC. It's a complete blood count panel, and it's going to test for ferritin. Well, I think ferritin, iron, and those, I think they're a part of the CBC. If not, they might be separate. But ask for the CBC, ferritin, iron, TIBC, and transferrin saturation. And before I even conclude this video, just know that iron deficiency anemia is not the only reason as to why you may have skin conditions. It can be linked back to, like I said, gut dysbiosis, which is basically an imbalance in your gut bacteria. It can also be linked back to a lack of healthy fats in your diet, lack of vitamin E in your diet. It can be linked back to obviously environmental things like weather and like bacteria and pollutants in the air. It can also be linked back to hygiene. So there's many different reasons as to why you may have skin conditions, but for this video, I'm just talking about iron deficiency anemia. So what you can do today, you want to identify the root cause of your iron deficiencies. If you want to learn more about how to do that, look at the first video in this series that talks about the iron recycling system, because a lot of women are anemic and they're doing what they're supposed to do, but they're still anemic because the iron recycling system is malfunctioning and it's not working properly. So once you get to the root cause of your iron deficiency anemia, then you can do certain things to help get your iron levels back up to par. So obviously one of them is going to be upping your intake of iron-rich foods. So like red meat, meat organs, like beef organs, things like that. I don't eat organ meat, but whatever. Lentils, shrimp, spinach, pumpkin seeds. If you want more options for iron-rich foods, go back to the first video. And then you want to pair all your iron foods with vitamin C, because vitamin C helps with iron absorption. Citrus, berries, peppers, things like that. And then be careful with iron blockers. So these are foods that block the absorption of iron, and they include coffee, matcha, tea, dairy, high calcium foods, and zinc supplements. But zinc supplements, it's only if it's a high amount of zinc. I believe it's 20 to 30. I forgot, I mentioned it in the first video. But low amounts of zinc is not going to block iron, but high amounts will. With coffee, matcha, tea, dairy, and high calcium foods, you can still eat these foods, but it has to be 2 hours after an iron-rich meal. You cannot consume these things with an iron-rich meal because it will block it. And if using supplements, if you can tolerate it, take on an empty stomach, because that's the best for absorption. But for me personally, I can't take on an empty stomach because I will throw up. So if you can tolerate it, if not, you can do it 2 hours after food, or in my opinion, I think it's the best to do it 2 hours after dinner before bed, because iron, my alarm's going off. Okay, back to regular programming. So I think it's best to take iron 2 hours after dinner and before bed, because iron interacts with so many things: coffee, tea, dairy, calcium, zinc supplements, eggs, like a bunch of random stuff. And I am a 100% firm believer in food freedom, and I don't like to be restricted as to when I can eat, what I can eat, all those things. So I think it's the best to just take it before bed, 2 hours after dinner. Also, because When we're sleeping, that's when our body does the most healing because we're in a parasympathetic state, which is the nervous system rest and digest state. And our iron recycling system works the best when we're sleeping. So I just think it's best to take it at nighttime. But if you're taking iron supplement, do take it with vitamin C. So make sure that it has vitamin C in it, or consume it with a juice, like a natural juice, like a pineapple juice, no added sugar, or orange juice that's vitamin C rich. Doesn't matter. But that's pretty much it for today's video. So if you've tried everything for your skin and nothing is working, check your iron levels, check for nutrient deficiencies, because this might literally be a major breakthrough for you healing your skin if you're iron deficient, anemic. But yeah, let me know in the comments if this explains your experience, or if you have any questions, comments, concerns. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more women's health content as well as more vaginal health content. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye, everyone.